Welcome to Don't Wait Till Pigs Fly with host Nancy Becker on Global Voice Radio. Nancy and her guests will share tips and recommendations on moving forward in your life and business now and not waiting till pigs fly. Here's your host, Nancy Becker.
Hey everybody, good afternoon and welcome to Don't Wait Till Pigs Fly, where we have conversations with business owners for business owners, helping them to create the processes and strategies that get them from one point to the other, allowing them to soar higher. Today I have two wonderful ladies with me, Maureen Miller, who has her BED. She is a professional certified coach through International Coach Federation, a certified EQI assessor, and certified intuitive eating coach. She's a faculty member of Coach Inc. Training School. She's been coaching for the last 25 years and has her own coaching practice. She's a facilitator with Coach U training new coaches. She volunteers with Coach Approach Inc. to provide free coaching for people in the helping profession. She's created and directed the television show on coaching for the local TV network. In her professional life, you can find her colliding with the status quo, energizing and igniting momentum in her clients, altering the established norm, inspiring others without restraint, and perceiving on a direct and immediate level. She lives with her husband and 3 dogs on Vancouver Island, a mecca for creation and innovation. She believes creating what's most important is the key to greatness. Her email is rewired2change@gmail.com. Welcome, Maureen.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Sure. And we also have Marianna Lead. Is that how you pronounce your last name, Marianna? Is Lead?
It is.
Okay. She is an MCC, which stands for a Master Certified Coach with the International Coach Federation, creator of the Goal Imagery Institute, International School of Coaching Mastery, a leading global provider of ICF-accredited holistic life, career and executive coach training programs. Marianna co-designed the Competitive Advantages of Women in Leadership program at Columbia University and a number of innovative courses at New York University, where she taught their master's degree and other coaching certificate programs. She's been an expert life coach for Fitness Magazine, a creator host of Life Coach TV on Manhattan Cable in New York City, and Life Coach Radio with Progressive Radio Network. She's an active Screen Actors Guild member, and she's co-hosted and produced Laughter is a Life Skill with comic Yakov Smirnoff. Oh, I know that name. At the American Airlines Theater on Broadway, and she brings her sense of humor and heart to everything she does. Her email is Marianna, MARIANNA, at googleimagery.com. Wow. Fantastic. And welcome for you as well, Marianna. It's great to have you here. Now, when I last talked with you, Maureen, I know that you were writing a book on branding. And I know how important branding is for people. And that as business owners, we all need to do a lot of work in our branding to get people, our ideal clients, to resonate with us. And I've been doing a lot of that lately. So I'm really looking forward to hearing your thoughts today. Is the book finished?
No, and it's co-authored with Marianna. And we're going through our last edit. We plan on having it on the publisher's desk on September 1.
September 1. Wow, that's coming up fast.
Yep, we're almost done.
Well, tell us a little bit about, either one of you jump in, and tell us a little bit about what the book talks about and why is branding so important?
Well, actually, it might be a little fun to start off to talk about how we decided to write the book. That was kind of fun.
That's great. Go for it.
We're both rebellious people, and we both train coaches, and we were concerned that coaches were being advised to create niches to create their business. So like if you wanted to create a niche around teachers or executives and things like that. And we thought, why are they doing this? We don't like this. So did you want to add anything to that, Marianna?
Yeah, it felt limiting, right?
Yeah.
So absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah, we thought it was both limiting. So we just thought, well, why don't we just write an article or a small essay on it, and the next thing you know, it grew into a book. So we actually we didn't even know it was going to be called anything about personal branding. We hired a content editor to go over the first draft, and she said, so like, what's your focus here? And we just went, well, we just want to tell other people that even whether you're a coach or not, that you can have whatever you want as the people that you're going to work with. And we don't think it's right to be having everybody be told that you need a niche. And she says, well, if you really wanted my opinion, she said, this book is about personal branding. I went, oh, it's good it has a label, because now we know what to talk about when we're sharing the information. And it caused a whole shift in how we looked at the book that we had written. And then we went through our second draft. So go ahead, Marianna. You look like you're going to say something.
I was just going to add, I lost count on what draft we're on at this point, because we've been editing, and I think that it's totally a process for us, for Maureen and I, to discover all of these different elements of personal branding. I mean, I had no clue, to be honest, that it had so many different layers. And the way we come up to that was trying to show people how to achieve their why. And so we started working with our clients, and we realized we can't really start with why, because it's just too complicated. And people had difficulty verbalizing their why. So we realized that before getting to why, we need to help people to get clarity on who they are. And then we started digging in, and we realized, hey, wait a second, that who thing has more than just one part to it that is important for personal branding. And then also there is how and the what. So it was just really kind of, we lucked out with an editor, because she kind of opened a wider horizon. And if we wouldn't be for that definition, personal branding, it probably would have ended up to be just kind of disjointed. How, what, why, who. But now we understand that all of these things are really important parts or elements of personal branding. And what we also discovered through working with clients and each other, that if any of these elements are not clear, then the whole branding concept kind of suffers. And it's really important to address every part of the personal branding. And we created a coaching system for it, because I don't think that it actually existed until we wrote it, right? Now we have to finish editing it and publish this book.
Yeah.
Get this thing done and out there so I can buy it.
Yeah.
I want to read it. That sounds great. Now, I know, and Maureen and I have talked about this in the past, but most people, when they hear branding, they think it's a business card. It's a color. It's, the look of their website. What is personal branding, and how is that similar and or different than just the term branding that most people know of? I don't think the term personal branding is as well known.
No. We found out that when we started exploring this deeper, once we had somebody tell us what you're talking about as personal brand, we started seeing that if you went online and looked for something, sometimes people described your personal brand as why you do what you do. Your vision, or what you believe. And some people thought it was your values. But we found that it's much bigger than that. It is the color. It is the message you send out there. It is about why you do what you do. It is who you are and what you do. It's all those things. But we also started finding out that not only could you use it from a business perspective, but it had a huge impact on people's personal lives too.
Yeah.
I would like to add to that.
Sure.
I think that, yes, people do know about business branding. And yet, in my experience, because I was hired as a coach, Maureen probably was to help a company to create their vision and mission statements. And a lot of times when they work on their personal branding, it's just the lip service. They, put a plank on the wall and it's not really being lived. And I think the difference that we're trying to bring about is that when you create a personal branding, it actually helps you to make very important life decisions so you could live your brand, and it really permeates every single thing that you do in life, including your business.
Yeah. Let's look at this a little bit deeper, because I've been going through this journey for the past year or so now, and I've been in business for over 35 years and have had lots of successes and lots of failures, and, you just keep going. But over the last few years, things have been really confusing for me. And I got to the point where I was listening to all these voices out there, people saying, well, who do you think you are? And why do you think I should pay any attention to what you do? And all these different kinds of things. And I had gotten to the point where I was just curled up in a ball in the corner and couldn't run my business anymore because I didn't have a sense of who I was any longer. And then I started on this journey of personal branding and got into it and started looking at it. And for years, I've used the term, don't wait for pigs to fly. And that, to me, and in fact, yesterday somebody says, oh, you've got to get rid of that. And I went and it was just an email, and I just went trash, because I'm now feeling comfortable with that. And to me, that's a very big part of both my personal brand and my business brand, because to me, it means so many of these small businesses, they'll say, I've got my email address, I've got my website, I'm just going to sit here and all this business is going to start coming my way. And that doesn't usually happen, so as long as you sit there waiting for those pigs to fly, you're not going to have much of a business. But I also think it brings about the fact that I like to have fun, and I laugh and I joke and I talk to my clients in a way that's not this professional, it's real, and when I came to the conclusion that it's okay for me to be me, it's amazing the things that have been happening in my business. Yay. And, yeah, it's yay. And that's why I started the web, the podcasts and all of that, because I said, it's really time for people to learn and to get off their duffs and to, get out there and start soaring higher. So personal branding, I think, is really, really important, but I don't know how easy it is for someone to actually do it. Yeah. How does someone say, all right, I want to figure out what this is? How do they actually jump into it and get started so that they can create something for themselves that they say, yeah, this is me? Are there tests? What do they need to do to start?
Well, I have to say that, first of all, when Maureen told me about this show and about you, Nancy, and Don't Wait Until Pigs Fly, I was immediately attracted to that. And I said, I want to be on that show.
Oh, good.
And I think this is what we teach, that what you believe, your why is what you believe, right? So philosophy of life is going to attract the right people to you. And those who are not attracted to you, doesn't matter, like delete, exactly. And, they're going to be attracted to the right vibration that is good for them. We don't need everyone. But so we created this literally a coaching system that people can follow through when they read the book, with exercises that we created. And it took a very long time, because we were working with clients and we were coaching each other. And so you can only imagine the amount of edits, even before the first draft even. So constantly perfecting and constantly looking at what works and what doesn't work. So it's like a lot of exercises, also conceptual things, because I think it's important for people to understand where we're coming from, so they can digest that and then say, oh, okay, I get this. Now let me see how I can do that too, right? So there's a whole section. Well, first we're talking about what personal brand is and the different elements that we found out that are important in that. We're using a metaphor of a boat that Maureen came up with, and her sister made all the drawings, by the way. So, and then we go through, how do you really identify your who? How do you identify those parts that are important? How do you identify your why? And so on and so forth. Maureen?
Yeah, so that's what we did. We created a bunch of exercises for people to go through, that they can do it on their own. We also ran a beta workshop with, how many people was it? 11 people? And they gave us tons of feedback, so that we changed some of the things that we were doing. But I think the book would be very helpful. The workshops are great, because you get a lot of live feedback from me when we run them. So those are the things that we've been doing to make sure people, get the message. And when people take them, they go, oh my gosh, this is bigger than just my business. And we go, yeah, it is. It's how you, like when you were talking about, you were confused because people were telling you a bunch of things. If you know what your personal brand is, if you know who you are, nothing anybody says to you can change that thought about yourself. It guides your passion. It creates boundaries around who can impact you and sway you, and it keeps you grounded, and it makes you very attractive, as you have found out over the last year.
And it really is very, very powerful, because about a year and a half ago, what I had just mentioned, this one woman who was a big coach in my area, lots of people following her, lots of people thinking she was just the end all. She came up to me one day and said, well, who do you think you are? I have no reason to want to work with you. I don't know that you can do anything for me. And that devastated me. I didn't think, well, I've been in business for 35 years. I've helped, 5,000 businesses. I didn't think about any of that. It just crushed me. And I went home and sat in my corner. Well, I'm thinking the last couple of days, you know what? She's not even around anymore. And look at me, I'm doing the podcasts, so when you create this personal brand, it really is powerful, and it really does allow you to say, screw everybody else. This is what I am,
Exactly. And you pushed your own delete button.
Yeah. And, even the fact that I said, screw everybody else. I mean, my God, a year ago, I would never in a million years have said that. I would have been,
Or I need the business, so I'm just going to work with anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody I don't want to work with. I don't have relationships with people except people I want to have relationships with.
And isn't that a wonderful feeling?
Yes.
It really, really is. But we've been having a discussion on one of my Facebook groups lately about how do you deal with people. And I think part of the fact that we now know who we are and start attracting our people is part of it. But how do you get people that do resonate with you coming into your business. You know, it's like so often the people that have been coming to me don't want to learn. They don't want to get off their duffs and do the work that's required to get their businesses moving ahead. They want it all done for them. And in the past, I would say, well, they're willing to pay me a little bit of money, so I guess I'll have to take them. I didn't realize that by creating this personal brand that I would actually start bringing in the people that I want to work with. So how do you, I don't know if it's marketing or just in conversations, how do you get people to realize in the beginning that they need these things, that they need to create this process for themselves?
Well, I don't think that knowing your personal brand means that you don't have to market yourself. It just means that now that you're going to market yourself, you know what it is. So you still have to put yourself out there. I've gotten almost all my work on LinkedIn because I purposely participate in conversations in groups where I would like to work with those people. So I've had a lot of people contact me because I've made comments. So it's just about me being active as far as comments are concerned and posting things, participating in groups, putting ourselves out there. Like last week, we did a presentation for an International Coach Federation group in Malaysia. It was a blast. We had a lot of fun with those people. So doing things like that, doing presentations, being on your radio show, you still have to do all that. But when you do it, you're coming from a place of knowing exactly who you are, what you believe, and how you're going to make it happen.
And that's right. I think what I'm asking though is you're in a room with my retreat, for instance. I'm looking for 150 people to come be part of a weekend business retreat for me in September, and they may not have ever heard of having a personal brand. I don't know. I don't know whether they've ever heard of this or not. How do you start a conversation with people who don't know what you're talking about so that they then start to think, well, maybe this is something that I need to think a little bit more about? Because you know what? That causes brain trauma up here, when you start to think about these things. It can give you a headache, dealing with things that you maybe haven't dealt with for a really long time that you've got to work through in order to actually find your authentic self.
Did you want to do that, Marianna?
Yeah, well, I think that the best thing to do is to show an example. And you are just such a walking example. You're such a great model, Nancy. But you wanted to introduce your peeps, to the idea of personal branding. If I were in your shoes, I would just say, that I usually say, and you see this saying, "Don't wait until pigs fly." What do you think? What do you think is that? And people want to be involved. People want to feel acknowledged, and it also gets them to thinking, right? So maybe it's a coaching question. What do you think this is, right? Mm-hmm. And then you hear what they say, and then you say, well, guess what? This is actually my personal branding message. And then people are going to get curious, and you can explain to them how it came about for you and what role it plays in your life and in your business. So I think that people understand the best from example. I mean, Maureen and I, when we were writing a book, there's just a lot of case histories and examples, and also we are putting our own examples. And talking about marketing and publicizing your personal brand / business brand, because it's one and the same, we start our LinkedIn profiles with our belief statement, with our why, and then follows through with what drives us, with what motivates us, what moves us forward. And I think when people see that, they begin to kind of get a glimpse of who we are. And Simon Sinek said, as we quote him in our book, that people don't get attracted to what you do necessarily. They're attracted to why you do it, to your beliefs, to your energy, right? So
makes a lot of sense.
The short answer is when we go to anything that has to do with events, and somebody says, "What do you do?" We tell them our why statement,
which is,
I believe creating what's most important is the heart of the matter, or your key to greatness. And then people are automatically go, "Oh, how do you do that?" Or "What does that mean?" You don't even have to ask a coaching question because they feel compelled to have you explain what it is. And Marianna does the same thing.
Yeah.
That's great. So we've been talking about your book, and you know what? We've never mentioned the name. What's the name of the book?
It's Me, My Brand, and Why.
Oh, I love it. That's great.
I think we've changed that a couple of times too.
I've been working on a book for, just about 10 years. And I'm hoping mine's going to get out sometime the end of September too. So I hear you. I know what you guys are going through. So,
and I think shifted a lot since the last time I talked to you. I don't see that not happening.
Yeah,
I see that book coming out.
Yes. Well, if somebody wants to buy your book, once it's out there, do they contact you? Is it going to be in Barnes and Nobles? How are they going to find it?
It's going to be on Amazon for sure.
And Barnes and Nobles.
And it's going to be everywhere. You know, we have a major distribution channels. Yeah.
Yeah, the publishing company that we went through does all of that.
That's good.
So
there's something to be said about letting somebody else publish your works for you. The self-publishing nightmare is just...
We started going down that path, and I just said, "Oh my gosh, do you want to do all of this, Marianna?" She goes, "No." I said, "Neither do I." So we started looking for a self-publishing company, and we checked things out based on people's recommendations, and you know, they took care of everything, formatting it for an ebook and formatting it for print. They'll do everything.
I'm going to need the name of that company in a couple of weeks. I'll get back in touch with you because I don't want to do the publishing bit either.
I'll put it on your Facebook page.
There you go. That sounds great. Marianna, you had said you were only going to be able to be with us for a half an hour. Have you got a little more time, or is it time that you need to...
I probably need to jump off like in a couple of minutes. Maybe I can take one more question.
Okay. All right. As businesses, you are coaches. Do you do other things besides coaching people on this personal branding? What else do you do? If I wanted a coach and I was looking around for a coach, what would I find if I went looking at your profiles?
Well, I mean, with me, you will find my branding statement, personal branding statement. You will find the same thing with Maureen. And then we're going to list things that we do. So if you look at my profile, you will see that I believe the best in me brings out the best in others. Or the best in me brings out in those that teach, coach, and mentor, because those are the things that I actually do. So that those are the services that I provide. I guess I could say that I'm a generalist, because I don't really define a niche per se, even though I do attract a lot of people who are clearly looking for their purpose, their life purpose. And I've been attracting that for a very, very long time before we even started writing a book. But
so more life coach type things than business coach?
Yeah, well, both, but mostly life and entrepreneurship, because I'm an entrepreneur. I've always done things and ran businesses and have been independent. And even executives sometimes hire me specifically to increase their entrepreneurship, DNA, because they're not really taught how to think outside of the box and be creative, and that's my thing. But mostly, yes, mostly it's life and entrepreneurship for me.
And Maureen, what are your favorite things to work with people on?
I don't have a niche either. Surprise, surprise. I don't attract any specific group. I do end up doing a lot of work with executives. And invariably, when you coach somebody, it ends up focusing on life and career or business. You can't compartmentalize. They both impact each other. And so I do contract work for different companies, and people I attract are the people that want to create what's most important. So again, it's a lot similar to Marianna, finding their purpose and getting some direction on that. So because we branded ourselves that way, and that's the word we share on both of our LinkedIn profiles, those are the people we attract.
Yeah.
So I don't get people looking for career counseling or anything like that.
Well, you have to also remember that I literally have a full-time job, if you want to put it this way, running an institute. I mean,
Yeah.
I have about 600 alumni at this point, teaching anywhere from 5 to 8 classes a week. I have faculty. I mean, I wake up every morning to like hundreds of emails. So just managing all of that is more than enough. And I'm also mentoring, and I'm doing assessments for ICF directly, when people apply for credentialing. So that also takes a lot of my time. So I only have a handful of clients just simply because I don't, in the past it was the other way around. And maybe I taught 1-2 classes a year and I had tons of clients. Now the balance is the other way around.
Do you sleep?
Sometimes, at times.
I bet I could email you at 3:00 in the morning and you might be up.
I know those feelings too. I've been there, done that. So, well, is there anything else that you guys want to mention before we get off here? I know that everybody's going to be loving this talk show. They're just going to really want to be more in depth, and they're going to want to get a hold of you and see how they can get your book. I just know it. I think it's fascinating, but I don't want to leave if there's something else that you want to share with us.
Well, we're trying to put together another workshop. We had it planned for this Friday, but I think if you could put it out to your radio audience, people who are interested, to contact us at our email address, and we'll pick a time that works for everybody, because we wanted to have another workshop, a beta workshop, before we finally put the published book out, to see if there's anything else that we wanted to add to the book. So we're doing that. And Marianna's so busy, so we put together a 7-week workshop, and I do the facilitating for that. 10-week workshop, and I do most of the facilitating for that. And if Marianna has time, she pops on and makes, she'll put some feedback in there too. So there's that we're doing.
Let's give them our email address. I know that they have yours, but the book, it'll help them to remember the title of the book as well. So it's me, my brand, and why at me.com.
It's authors.
Authors. Oh, sorry, authors. Okay, Maureen, you do it.
It's authors at me, my brand, and why.me.
Okay. You can say that one more time.
This is authors at me, my brand, and why.me. So there's no hyphens.
There's no dashes. It's just me, my brand, and why. Okay.
Yeah. So if people are interested in joining a beta workshop, we didn't want to really advertise a specific date until we got, enough people that could come on a specific time. And actually the last time we did that, we had so many people, like we just figured maybe 5 people would want, but we had 11. So we split it up into 2 classes and did 2 classes. So.
Well, sign me up. I want to do it. It sounds wonderful.
Okay.
I would be happy to be one of your participants. I want to get farther and farther into this, because it's amazing to me how I talk a lot about vision boards, and vision boards are scary cool, but I think figuring out your personal brand is just as important and exciting. Yeah, it really is.
I've done a vision board with my who I am. I've done that.
They're incredible.
Yeah, so all the things that make up who I am are on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just so we make it clear, it's not going to be free. There is a cost, but it's very much cost.
Go ahead and put all of that information on my Facebook page, the Dream to Reality page. And
is that the one I belong to?
If not, I'll put you in there because that's the one. You may belong to my private group. So I'll put you into the open one so that 1,000 people can see it.
Yeah. And then we'll have your the radio show put on a link on our LinkedIn page.
Cool.
Maybe.
That's great.
That works.
Nancy, thank you so much for having us. I really enjoyed
Well,
hanging out with you and your questions.
Thank you very much for being a part of this. And thank you, listeners, for being here. We'll see you all later. Don't forget that you can hear these podcasts at Don't Wait Till Pigs Fly, Thursday evenings at 5 p.m. on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, and Spotify. You can get the email addresses again, and you always can leave questions on the bottom of the podcast pages. And so until next time, download, subscribe, and listen to all these wonderful tidbits of information so that you can eventually soar higher. Thanks, everybody, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you for listening to Don't Wait Till Pigs Fly with host Nancy Becker. Join Nancy every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern on Global Voice Radio.